Hi, this is Kevin Kraut. Today I have an interesting topic. A friend of mine gave me this book to take a look at. The name of this book is The Book of Mammon. That's kind of an interesting title because you look at Salt Lake and with the brand new center that they have built right down in downtown Salt Lake, and they spend all these millions of dollars on, and that's a big controversy with people. You know, is this a church? Is this a corporation? Is this a big business? What are we trying to do here? Are we converting people, or is it just to make more money? And so this is the Book of Mammon. It's kind of interesting. He says it's a book about the corporation that owns the Mormons. And apparently the guy, I haven't even read the book yet. It's just fascinating. I opened up different pages and things. And apparently he started this. This was the original book. And he started writing it. It's called The Book of Mammon, a book about the corporation that owns the Mormons. And this was in 2010. And apparently, I mean, I don't know this for fact, but it looks to me like they probably forced him out of making that book and told him he had to make this book because this book is fiction, or could call it fiction because they didn't want any truth behind it. But apparently he worked in the church office building. He calls it the COB, Church Office Building. It's an acronym. It's COB. And he tells some pretty dark secrets about what went on there. One of the kind of folklore stories about our family was, you know, you really want to know about Mormonism and its depth, then go work for the church somewhere and find out in deep detail. In fact, a lot of church historians ended up, they work for the church historian's office and they get into the deep records of things and they find out things that are a little bit changed now than what they were, and we've kind of gone a little bit astray from what we should have. So I think people should probably read this. Now, the purpose of me telling about this is not to say Mormonism is wrong, or Joseph Smith was wrong, or, you know, I don't believe in Mormonism anymore. It's to prove the fact that Brigham Young made many statements about the saints, that Salt Lake City would be one of the most wicked cities in the last days, that the saints themselves would be harder to tell a black leg from a Mormon. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of statements here. And so, in fact, he even made a statement at one point where he said, I fear that the leaders of this church would lead this people almost to the brink of hell. And so he's pretty concerned about the latter days. We were going to go down Babylon. We were going to become part of Babylon, be part of Babylon. That all happened in some of my other research that I've talked about. That all happened in 1890 when we made a secret pact with the secret combinations, and they have taken over the church. They rule with power. There are good people in the church. We try, and even in the hierarchy of the church, we try to do what we can to maintain the old religion, but it's very quickly fading, very quickly going into a different phase. Now, this book, on the opposite hand, Approaching Zion. I knew Hugh Nibley. We visited many times. And in chapter 2 of this, it's the chapter titling is called, What is Zion, a Distant View? And I think that's the most key part of this entire book. Because he goes through and shows how we have a people, when we stopped living the law of consecration, we stopped having all things in common, and we became a very Babylon-minded people, and now we have very wealthy people in the church, and they say, you know, oh, it's because of, you know, God and all these wonderful things. Read this book. Read chapter 2. That is not the purpose. That is not Zion. That is not what we're searching for. Zion will not have money. It will be a group of people who will be gathered together, and they will become a beautiful people, and they'll have all things in common, and they will be of one heart and one mind. So, let's read the two books, and we can see what the fulfillment of that prophecy is by Brigham Young.